I talk frequently about lessons as gifts, how even when they're painful, they are still gifts. But today I want to give a little credence to the pain that comes with the lesson. So, the most important lessons are incredibly impactful because generally they're the ones that probably upset the way that your life was previously the most. They are the most tumultuous lessons. They are the most impactful lessons, and they're probably the most painful lessons. That's certainly the case with me. So today, what I just wanted to dig into just a little bit is that there is a certain amount of pain and suffering that comes with growth. And it goes up and down. And sometimes the lessons are like beautiful. Sometimes they literally are like, oh my, they're rapturous. And sometimes in the middle of them, you don't think that you'll survive them. And those are the ones that are the most altering. You don't get the beautiful gifts without the gut wrenching, basically, the gift of a death, meaning that you need to burn to the ground to birth something new. One of the things that I've really come to embrace is the idea that there is no creation without destruction, even if the destruction is your old self that wasn't serving you anymore. It's still destruction, it's still a loss. Is it a positive loss? Yes, it's a net positive loss. But at the time, it's what you know. It's what's familiar. It's the stories you lived that have kept you safe and done their job. That's why I always say, like, don't just cut off the head and walk away. It's almost like they need honor. All of those old stories you used to tell, they deserve your honor and even your admiration because they probably got you through some pretty tough shit. And, I still go down. I still go down. I go down into the pit. I am laid low. My life energy seems tapped. I dig in and I feel like there's almost nothing to hang on to. But my time spent there is so far less because I've got that core of lessons to hold on to. But if you're still on the initial descent and kind of examining all of these things, and basically for me, it was like everything I ever thought about myself and the world was proved to be a lie. So that's a lot to take in. And it really knocked me on my ass for quite a long time. And the rebuilding process was very messy. It was like, I'm fine. I'm empowered. Oh my God. Like it was very forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, and not a gentle curve at all. I mean, that's not my nature either. I'm very like, let's climb a mountain and then let's slide back down it very painfully and hit every branch on the way. So today, what I just wanted to touch on is if you find yourself in pain, very low on energy, and feeling like you're a little tapped out, a little sapped of like your juice, it's probably because you're in the middle of learning a really deep and powerful lesson. So keep on, because perseverance will always win in the end. Come back and rest. Give yourself some compassion. Let yourself regroup. Don't fall in love with it. You can fall in love with the pit quite easily. You start to get off on your own misery and your own stories. You need the strength to emerge triumphant out of that. And every day I try to add a little bit more to your arsenal of how you can view yourself and add to your toolbox so that these lessons maybe are a little bit, maybe just not as long. I mean, they're always painful. And if you're someone that feels really deeply, like me, they hurt every fucking time. It's kind of like, in the first X-Men, they talk about Wolverine and when the claws come out of his fists, it hurts every time. The lessons hurt every time. And maybe the time that you can look back and say, wow, that was such a great lesson shrinks, so you don't have to take years to say, oh, that's what I learned from that. But the big ones may take a long time. And when you're in them, it doesn't necessarily feel like a lesson. It feels like a fucking war. And it feels like you've lost. But as long as you Keep at it. And you don't have to climb the whole mountain in a day. You take those 2 pebbles away. I'm going to make another film analogy. Like the Shawshank Redemption, where he, like, basically with a spoon moved those pebbles little bit by little bit so he could tunnel out to freedom. Because isn't that what we're all after? That's what I started Body of Truth for, is to give my testimony to help anyone that happens to listen on any given video, any given day, to move that much closer to freedom. So if you're in the thick of it, I honor that battle. It is fucking tough. But keep fighting. And I will see you tomorrow.